Welcome to Sib Spot. Today's Reddit stories are from Am I the A-Hole? Story 1 is by Throwaway Account 98. Am I the a-hole for telling my youngest son, 6, to stop calling my daughter, 17, beautiful over and over again? My 17-year-old daughter is undeniably beautiful. She's the prettiest one in the family, respectfully, and she gets compliments 24/7. A lot of guys and friends she has always end up having a crush on her or asking her out. Although I'm glad she's comfortable within her looks, I feel as if it becomes overbearing sometimes. Her dad calls her beautiful a lot too, so does her older sister, her friends, random guys in public, etc. She always says thank you, but somehow I can tell that she's getting tired of it. Her younger brother, 6, is a very sweet kid. He always calls her pretty and beautiful as well, and it's sweet because he looks up to her. Though yesterday he kept saying it over and over again, and I could tell my daughter looked a bit annoyed, so I told him he can say it once and move on. He got a little upset at me and didn't understand, so I told him she knows she's pretty and that we can give people other compliments as well. Later on that day, my daughter was telling me she wishes people would compliment her more on her skills rather than her looks. I told her that I understand that there's nothing wrong with how she feels. I'm not sure if there was a better way to handle it. Am I the a-hole? Down in the comments by Mango Margarita. Soft, you're the a-hole. Maybe have the conversation with the older members of the family. I'm not sure why you went after the 6-year-old. Quoting the OP, he got a little upset with me and didn't understand, so I told him she knows she's pretty and that we can give people other compliments as well. He probably still doesn't understand. He's 6. You may have inadvertently given him the impression that calling someone pretty or even complimenting his sister is a bad thing. If it was bothering her so much, a more positive response might have been, yes, she's pretty and good at drawing. What else is name good at? You had good intentions, but it might have backfired. I agree and disagree with this person. Little kids sometimes can be annoying, and if this little 6-year-old was saying, you're so pretty, oh, you're just so pretty, I can't, you're just the prettiest girl, I think you're so pretty, then I think it's okay to say, let's not repeat that 10 times. He may have been being annoying and didn't know it. So sometimes it's important to nip that in the bud. I have a feeling that the people who are older didn't get reprimanded because they don't say it 15 times in one conversation, as some little kids can. But again, I wasn't here. I don't know the exact situation, so I can't say for certain. I'm just assuming that it's because as a kid, sometimes their messages are on repeat. Our next story today is by Minimum Cranberry 74. Am I the a-hole for refusing to change my first name to work for my father-in-law's company? I'm a female in my 20s and I have an unusual name. It's one of those hated names that people think are the parents being try-hard or making their kids' lives harder instead of picking a real name. Think Princess, Ocean, Navia, Moon. Now I love my name and I was never bullied for my name in school and have a very good job, so it never held me back there. I married my husband while we were still in college. That's when I met his parents. They were nice. Kinda taken aback by my name when we first met, but still nice. No issues back then. Recently, father-in-law has mentioned how much he would love to have me work for him. I thought it was a very sweet thing to say, but he started getting more and more serious about it after a few weeks. He ended up asking me if I would actually be interested, and I said it would depend on certain factors, but it would be nice to work for the family business. He didn't say anything else right away, but then a couple of days later, he told me he was serious about me wanting to work there, but I would need to change my name to something less embarrassing, because the negative impact on his business was not something he was willing to risk, and a ridiculous name is a sure way to harm your relationship with important business contacts. I told him I understood if he felt my name could not fit in with his business, but I would not change my name, so we should just forget the offer. For the second time when talking to him, he was taken aback. Another couple of days passed, and my husband told his dad he was crappy for offering me a job with conditions like my name attached to it. Then mother-in-law told me it was a little hasty to refuse without thinking it over. I told her the thing is I love my name and I don't want to change it for a job. Father-in-law is offended that I wasn't willing to consider it. He told me it was an amazing place to work, which I do know. I heard great things from his employees, and I should be willing to make a small adjustment so I can be more professional presenting in the business world. I told him I wasn't, and his attitude about my refusal to change my name made me glad I hadn't agreed to work for him. Now both he and mother-in-law feel I should have been more willing to compromise on my name. I think this is crazy, and my husband agrees with me and told his parents they were crazy. But they're not happy, and now I need to ask, am I the a-hole? Holy crap, it's not like your name's some swear word. They say that you should be willing to make a small adjustment. That's not a small adjustment. You are this person. You've been them your whole life. And that's a massive adjustment. What, to work for somebody who's going to make you change again when he finds something else he doesn't like that doesn't fit in his little business world. Your father-in-law sounds like a massive, massive jerk. That's not something small. That's somebody's name. 10 in the comments by lowbalance4404. Not the a-hole. I know someone this actually happened to, but it was a nickname. Think Billy for William? His boss thought he sounded like a kid and actually started calling him Will. Dude even changed the organizational chart to Will. It was so weird. Under that by the OP. I would be so unhappy if someone I work for did that to me. Just be upfront if you don't want somebody with that name. Don't go changing their name on official work documents without permission. Underneath that by Prize Bumblebee 2192. Not to mention, he's the one asking you to work for him. You didn't apply for the job, and were subsequently told this would be a condition. You would be free to decline then too. He asked you unprompted and threw this condition out and is still pursuing you and pressuring, bullying you with his wife to do something that you don't want to do in order to work for him. Can you imagine how he would be as a boss giving this completely unreasonable ask and further pursuit? Awful. You dodged a bullet there, in essence. It sounds like the son is a lot better than the father-in-law. Our next story today is by I Like Food 098. OP, I like food too. Am I the a-hole for telling my boyfriend to order whatever he wants for dinner, then getting upset with his choice? I'm a 20 female and I've been dating this guy who's 28 for about 7 months. I'm not a picky eater at all, but I am allergic to shellfish. He knows that. When deciding what to eat, I told him he could pick, and he ordered shrimp scampi for 2. I was annoyed because I can't eat that, and he got defensive because I told him it was his choice and that's what he chose. I didn't think I had to specify, you can pick something for us, but we both have to be able to eat it. I thought that was implied. Why order food for someone knowing they can't eat it? But he thinks whatever means whatever, and that's my fault. Am I the a-hole? Edit, just to clarify, we always take turns in deciding where to eat, where to order, and we eat together a lot so we know what the other person likes and doesn't eat. We usually decide for ourselves like, you want to order X from X place, get me Y. But at times we just have other person order. Like if one of us is running late or busy with something else, I was in the shower when he told me he was ordering Italian, so I just yelled for him to pick something. He's aware I can't eat shellfish, and he's aware shrimp are a shellfish, and he was aware he was ordering for me as well since he got 2 portions. This one had a lot of attention. Most of them overwhelmingly said you're not the a-hole in here and that your boyfriend is kind of a jerk. He either completely is dangerously thoughtless about you, or he did it on purpose and wanted to hurt you for some reason. Down below in the comments by My Emotional Damage, not the a-hole. If I was making a dinner choice and was given the option for whatever, A, I wouldn't even order anything remotely physically near shellfish knowing it could seriously hurt or kill you. B, consider what you like eating. I'm a little perplexed with his choices. I could get maybe he forgot you hated pickles or ketchup and didn't have those omitted, but something that can make you sick or possibly even kill you? I don't know how someone forgets that at all. OP replied and said, same. I know what foods my friends like and wouldn't intentionally make or order something they don't. Underneath that by R which means you're dating an absolute moron, or more likely he did it on purpose. The fact that he will not apologize and shows no remorse for ordering something that would certainly endanger your health and leave you with nothing to eat is why I think it was the latter. Yes, some people do try to cause harm to their partners. Maybe he was mad at you for some slight, or maybe he just gets his kicks this way and it's starting to show. Maybe he likes to control. Or maybe he's just stupid and can't apologize. If that's the case, that alone is a major deal breaker. It will happen again and again. Our next story today, it sounds like another throwaway account because it's named after the story, by Watch the Kids, Am I the A-hole? Am I the a-hole for canceling the babysitter after my wife decided not to attend my work holiday party? Just going to throw this out there before I actually read the story. I don't know anybody who likes these work holiday parties. Anybody. Do any of you like work holiday parties? My 38 male work held our annual holiday party last Friday. It was held at one of those axe throwing places which I had never done before, so I figured it would be pretty fun. My wife, who's 36, and I have 3 kids, 10, 8, and 5. So we don't get out of the house for dates very often. The holiday party was planned almost 2 months ago, and my wife agreed to attend with me. I suggested we make it more of a date by either going out for drinks after the party or catching a late-night movie. She thought this was a good idea too. I also arranged for a babysitter to come watch the kids for that night. The day of the party, my wife got home from work and told me she had a horrible day and was in a bad space mentally, so she didn't want to come to the party. I told her I was disappointed, but I understand if she wants to stay home. As I was getting myself ready to head to the party, I called the babysitter and canceled. I apologized to her and offered to Venmo her an hour's worth of our agreed rate of $30 to compensate for the cancellation, and she agreed that was reasonable. As I was getting ready to leave, my wife asked when the babysitter was going to come. I kind of looked at her funny and told her I had just canceled the babysitter because she was no longer coming with me. She got mad at me and told me that I knew she had a bad day and she was in a bad mental space and needed some time to herself. I told her that I had assumed none of that meant she was incapable of watching her kids and that I didn't think having the babysitter come when my wife was still home made any sense at all. She told me to call her back and see if she could still come watch the kids, and I told her that if she wanted to do that, then she can do it, but I'm not going to. She tried to argue with me about it, but I told her that I had to leave for the party. While I was at the party, she sent me multiple texts about how the kids were driving her nuts and that the babysitter didn't answer her calls and she needed me to come home. She kept blowing up my phone, and I eventually left the party over an hour early to go home. When I got there, she kept arguing with me about how I was an a-hole for canceling the babysitter when I knew she had a rough day. I told her I was not going to pay a babysitter just so my wife can rest after a bad day. I told her she should have just thrown a movie on for the kids and relaxed. I told her she was the one who ruined our potential night out and that having a bad day at work is not a good enough reason to pay a babysitter $150 to $200. She still thinks I was an a-hole for canceling the babysitter without talking to her first, and she's still mad at me for it. But I don't think that was an unreasonable assumption to make, considering there have been plenty of times when I've had a bad day and I'm still 100% capable of watching the kids by myself when my wife leaves the house. Edit. Hey everyone, can we cool it with the purely speculative cheating angle? My wife goes to yoga classes with 5 other moms in our neighborhood. So unless they are all stepping out on their husbands or all in cahoots together, she's not cheating. Our neighborhood isn't a reality TV show and real life isn't like that. She's an introvert, and when she gets to her social limit, she doesn't want to go out. It's happened before, which is why I didn't push her to come out with me. I don't think that she should have gotten this angry at you over it. I do think it's possible you were a bit of an a-hole for not communicating to her, I'm going to cancel with a sitter since you'll be home. What do you think about that? You could have talked to her about it, but it would be so weird to have a babysitter there while the woman is at home. She's not sick, she's not debilitated somehow, she's there, she's just not going to do anything, and the sitter has to take care of the kids. It would be strange. A sitter is not a nanny, so that would be weird to me. But in the comments, you were overwhelmingly voted to not be the a-hole. There were people that said you are the a-hole. If you have a ton of money, then you would be considered the a-hole. You should have given her a break, all this other stuff. But most of the people are saying that's completely reasonable. You cancel the sitter when there's going to be a parent at home. It would be really weird to have a parent at home and a babysitter there to take care of the kids. Here's just one person that says you are not the a-hole. By Just Watching 2021. For all the parents and or folks who aren't independently wealthy responding, you're the a-hole, please ask yourself this. When was the last time after having a rough day at work you decided it was a good reason to spend $150 to $200 on a babysitter so you could stay home with your kids and the sitter? What? Never. then shut the F up. Of course, OP, the person who made all the arrangements for their long-planned and much-anticipated date, canceled the sitter because he hired her based on the fact that no parent was going to be home with the kids. Now that one of the kids' parents was going to be home, and never suggested they needed help with a sitter with their own children, why on earth would he throw away $150 minimum? That cash can be put towards a sitter when they both are able to go out, not the a-hole. And here's somebody who offered Everyone Sucks Here by Sunny OK 85. Everyone sucks here. You both really need to work on your communication. While it makes sense to cancel the babysitter, it could have been one of the things that was helping your wife hold on to her sanity and getting through the day. And she should have let you know that she still wanted the sitter. Maybe the night could have been salvaged with her taking the time of your party to relax and de-stress, and you both could have gone for that date afterwards. All it would have taken was you saying, if you're not coming to the party, I'll cancel the babysitter. It would have given her the chance to respond. But she should not have blown up your phone. At 10 and 8 and 5, the kids are old enough to grab snacks and watch a movie. The 5-year-old would need some help with things, but the siblings should be able to do most of that. I think every parent has had a crappy day and still got home to take care of their kids. Most parents have had the flu and felt like death and still taking care of the kids. But it does make parenting that much harder. And not all bad days and flus are the same. I know I've had bad days where I know if I come home, I'm going to yell at the kids because my temper is done. A call to hubby and I don't come home until I've had a chance to calm down. It's only happened once, but the ability to calm myself without the stress of worrying about my attitude was what I needed. You can't forget, kids have bad days in their social interactions at school or whatever too. If you're having a bad day, keep in mind that they could be having a bad day too, and you guys love each other. So come home and try to not be negative. And finally, there's a stance that I found. I had to dig for a while for this one because most of them are just NTA, NTA, NTA. But here's a YTA by Product Zilch. You're the a-hole for not canceling but for your reaction afterwards. I'm not going to spend money on a babysitter because you had a bad day. Geez, just sympathize and suggest you find another date night with that money. Maybe without a work party first so you get the same alone time with less pay to pay the babysitter. Don't get me wrong, your wife may also be the a-hole if this is her norm. If it's not her norm, then maybe you need to consider that she's struggling at the moment and be more gentle. You can be more gentle while also refusing to be treated poorly by her. You should be a team facing this together. If you're both having a crappy mood, somebody has to be a big boy or girl first and disallow the argument to devolve. Our stories for today have come to a close. Until we meet again, have the best day.